the equities do. I mean, if the equities do really nothing or break today and the dollar keeps going down,
Yeah.
it would be and for the week, I mean, we got to look at the weeklies. And the platinum, as we talked about, but if it holds above 900, 902, 903, I think it's a nice statement. And it's the platinum silver that is interesting because when you look at it on a year, platinum has been down. It's down still a little on the year, and silver's up, like almost 45%. So it's pretty heady, especially going back to that Swiss group. And I just don't know the science, as we talked about on Tuesday, well enough to tell you how much platinum is going to be used in the green revolution. Right now, platinum supposedly, but I don't buy it, has stagnated because of the diesel car engines and automobiles. But it doesn't make sense because if you look at palladium, palladium's had a
Palladium looked okay.
pretty good year. Let's see if that's right. Yeah. Palladium is actually up on the year. Yeah, I don't know.
Let me flip that screen over there.
20% or so. So, but I would make today a pretty important year. And as you rightly point out, watch that 5:30 today. None of that. Okay.
Yeah, it's knocking on the door there, isn't it?
Let's see that. I gotta.
Yeah, and the platinum silver went up and kind of closed this gap from July on.
Again,
Yeah.
again, I'm not taking anything, but it's just there are some things here that really need to be attended to. I think the dollar is in no small part of that, by the way.
All right, let's take a look at this. Yeah, this was this level right in here that it's above that I was looking at in the 530.
Yeah. We're at 130 basis point differential, I think, on the cash. Hold on.
If I go to a monthly, you can see where, it's a big inflection area where these averages come in and the oscillator comes in on the monthly continuation. So it's not an area where you'd want to sell weakness in the long end.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. I don't know what else correlates. We're under the two, although I think the 10-year 200-day held here, right? Am I wrong?
Let me take a quick look at it.
Let's see. Yeah. We haven't done a continuation. Let's see the week.
Yeah, the daily continuation, I have 137, 166.
Yeah.
But even that is just, you go out to a weekly. Just, I mean, for me, what I thought was interesting were the bonds against the 10 years.
Yeah, let me put up that chart.
Yeah, they look like, you know, you got the 200-day below and it looked like it really wanted to try to do something, but it's just
Yeah,
stuck
and
here.
it's sitting on that line, you know, that's based just on futures prices. Hold on, let me get an up-to-date differential chart on it.
Joe, where is the stimulus thing at this stage? I don't know where it is.
The stimulus
Yeah.
on hold.
All right.
It's in Mitchell's back pocket. So don't expect anything to come out about that. It's all Pelosi's fault, according to Meadows and Trump.
When I look at Pelosi, I think about Joan Rivers' famous. You know the line I'm talking about?
Uh,
Huh?
give it to me again.
Joan Rivers said when she said, if I have another facelift, pretty soon I'll have a goatee.
Right.
I think of when I look at Pelosi. Her facelift, she'll have a goatee.
Yeah, so I'm kind of looking at that. The Italians didn't rally anywhere for me.
No, I know. I'm sitting there. I actually bought them actually well today, but now I've turned a good trade into
Yeah, and they're buying. Peter and I talked about the TLT. He was looking. He was kind of eyeballing 157 yesterday, and it was a
Yeah.
good enough area, and it was a pretty good opening range trade to buy some for a trade.
Yeah.
Especially with the board being a little risk off right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all the tech names are going to have a tough time. And the Bund Italian, I mean, well, what does that tell you? Nothing. So
Nope. Doing not, no, but it just a big correction this week from where it was last week. So let's see if we can. I'm waiting to see this.
yeah, they're just hitting big cap tech right now.
10:28, they report.
So Baba's going to have a tough time. NASDAQ, you'll probably see the 50-day there. 11,514. That's not much of a stretch. So again, you know, it's 49, and then you're looking at 40 on the hourlies, and 43 is your reversal on the 25. So you got a double top, you got a double bottom, and we can wing back and forth in this area and in the indices and not do anything. Jeff, how does your stuff line up for lower? Well, I know you liked it lower. You think we get back into the 30s here? Yeah, okay. So some of the guys are short at the opening or at yesterday's close, and some guys got in early at the opening range, yesterday's close, and we're looking for the 30s. You know, the bonds are coming up on the hourlies. and it's still short everything against long Russell, and Russell's basically sideways for the last 2 weeks. So that's just, the end of the spread. See if I can pull those up.
Okay, on the German US in yield levels, I put up a 5-year chart. The high differential was made on November 6th of 18. The low differential was made in April of this year at 102, and the high was almost 280. Now that's interesting. Let's see something. So now we go and look at the euro. When that differential was at its high, where was the euro? It's 11.
Wow. So this is going to get interesting because the Russell gained on everything yesterday, big time, with ORL days against the SPOOs and the NASDAQ. And then NASDAQ's the one that looks like this spread it's got more to go. Definitely. If it gets any lower, it's going a lot lower.
Okay, here's what I just looked at. You ready?
Yeah.
This is interesting, by the way.
All right. What do you want me to put up?
You put up the euro currency on a weekly. Okay.
Hold on. There we go. Okay.
Now, when the differential in November, now the high differential, the high differential between the Bund and the 10-year was 2.80, which we know what was happening the last quarter of 18, right? The Fed was shrinking its balance sheet and raising rates, and the equity markets were in trouble, right?
Right.
Okay. So the euro in that same period when that spread was, I'm in that same week, and the euro over that same year had dropped down and made a low at 112.15. Okay. Which it should have been, because as the Fed was tightening,
Okay, I got it.
and the gap between 10-year and Bund yields was widening, favoring the 10 years, the euro was dropping, right?
Right.
You can see it, how perfect it is. That was absolutely in the way that we see things align, right? That was pretty symmetric. And it's now the low differential over the last 5 years I'm talking about was made on April 7th, 2020. And this is off a 5-year chart. That low differential was at 102.13.
All right. So we're looking at April
7th,
of
2020.
Okay, right there.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's not what you would assume. You would assume that the euro had rallied as a differential narrowed. Everybody following me?
Well, I'm recording it so they can go back and think about it.
Okay. So So based on what the algos have been, that should have, as that differential narrowed, the euro should have rallied. But it tells us that that's why when people say it's different, things are never the same. So there was something else going on in the world, which of course we know what it was. The absolute fear of the shortage of dollars, the pandemic was, so even as the differential narrowed, the euro couldn't find a rally. In fact, the euro doesn't make, well, it had put in its low a little bit earlier, but it had totally lost that dynamic. That's why I'm just making the point for those who, well, this is, no, it's not. It's not the same. It's never the same. It's never the same for the underlying fundamentals. It's just not, there was a more important dynamic here. Now, today, the differential is at 141. So we're widening in favor of the 10-year over the last, certainly since April, right? 41. So if we want to play bullshit statistics, that's that's probably about a 40%. Yeah, it is. It's about a 40% move in favor of 10-year differentials versus the Boon. So the euro should actually be weakening. Not happening. Certainly. So I'm just bringing this to the fore because it shows why you just, you need context and understanding before you just jump on what is, to be the latest story. That's the only point I'm trying to make here. Reading more into it.
All right.
Yeah, we always have to look, you may get bored with it and you may say, yeah, but when you read these stories, you never get that context. You get a headline. That's why I always read for context and nuance rather than just jumping at the, I know the headlines are written the way they are to create certain volatility, but it is definitely, and we're in this now, again, Anthony and I have certainly gone back and forth on the dollar. I had a long meeting yesterday because I sit on as an advisory on the Praxis Fund Board. So we had a long meeting, and they had actually locked up with me a little bit, which is fine. And really, I'm very fond of these guys. That's why I sit on their board, and they've done really good stuff, and they're very good global macro traders. But we locked up back in May and June because I was bearish the dollar and stated my reason. They were bullish the dollar. And we had our views, and they were more in the Raoul Paul camp, who was putting out a very bullish scenario. And I'm not saying this to say I'm right. I like that we locked up because they were pushing at me, and I had to think about things because I respect their thinking. But we've had this discussion, and if this continues to widen and the dollar can't get any traction, it's something that we'll pay attention to. That's why I bring it for no other reason but to put context to it. That's all. You can stop it.
Okay. Well, great. Yeah, that's stuff like that. Normal people don't think about, Ira. Only you. And it's good that we've got you here. Give us a little something to think about once in a while.